The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And tonight we're going to welcome back our tennis coach, Bill May, as we start to talk a little bit about our men's team. Earlier we had him on in the year and he talked about our women's program, so tonight we're going to focus on just the men's season and how they're doing so far. So please stay tuned after the break and I'll be joined in studio by Bill May.
WUOW 104.7 FM is the region's premier radio station, offering award-winning programming from National Public Radio and Pacifica Radio networks, giving you the chance to become more informed about the arts, information, and entertainment from around the country and around the world. WUOW is your community radio station. Join us and support the sound.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me in studio now is head men's and women's tennis coach Bill May. Welcome back to the show, Bill.
Hello, Geoff. Glad to be back.
When we had you on in the fall, we were in the middle of our women's season. Of course, we do play a season for the men in the fall as well. I'd just like to, since we have you back here in the studio, maybe we can talk a little bit about and recap the women's season, because we did finish up pretty strong. We had 5 all-conference players at the SUNY tournament, and we finished 3rd overall. So can you just give us a little bit of a recap of how you think the women's fall season went?
The women's fall season went tremendously well. We hoped for a little better at the conference tournament, but we were very, very pleased to compete and almost finished in 2nd place. The 3rd place finish was just by a couple of points, and having 5 all-conference players is the most we've had as a school in quite some time.
Yeah, well, I believe it's the most we've ever had at one time. Of course, they've been naming the all-conference teams for about 4 seasons now. So that was great for your women to have that many, and it certainly bodes well because all of them were underclassmen, except for one, right?
All but one, yes.
Which means next year we do have a spring schedule here, but we're also looking forward to next fall with your recruiting class. So how do you think that'll look coming up for the fall season?
It'll look good. We have 2 or 3 strong candidates coming in, recruits that will help us tremendously.
Yeah. Now let's transition a little bit. Now, when we did have you on in the fall, we talked a bit, where you came from and out in the Midwest in Indiana, and you did coach. Your prior coaching experience was at the NAIA level.
Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit about maybe some of the differences in recruiting and coaching at that level, and maybe when you're transitioning over here to Division III level, just a little bit?
I can. At the NAIA level, the primary difference is that they have athletic scholarship money to provide to their student athletes. It's very similar to Division II levels of scholarship and some Division I programs. And so most of the athletes are looking for some kind of athletic scholarship. At the Division III level, there's no athletic scholarship involved, but there are other opportunities for scholarship, academic in nature.
Now, you were able to, you had a lot of success out there when you were at Indiana Wesleyan.
Yes.
And can you just talk about maybe some of that success and how you brought that, with you to our men's and women's program, which have been doing very well over the last few years?
Well, at Indiana Wesleyan, we had really tremendous players, tremendous facilities, very much like we have here, and really a commitment to success on and off the court, both on the tennis court but academically in the classroom. And we have brought that here. The captains who are going to be appearing on the show here in a little bit have really bought into the idea of success in the classroom, success on the court, commitment to all the things that it takes to be successful in so many different areas. At Indiana Wesleyan, we had teams that wound up finishing twice as national champion runner-up. We had a lot of All-Americans. And our teams here at Oneonta State are going that direction. We're moving closer and closer every year to a bid to the Nationals, and the more all-conference players we have, the more conference champions we have, just kind of feeds the fire to continue to get better and better.
Now, do you see that as now we're seeing that success, especially on the women's side? You know, when you're out recruiting, you know, because obviously we have those kids come on campus and they visit and they meet with our players. Are those the kinds of things that you think will help build our program as we go forward?
I do. Student athletes knowing that they can come to a program where academics are stressed, where community service is stressed, where commitment to success in athletics is stressed, is incredibly important. They're looking for that. But when they actually get on campus and see our incredible tennis courts, we have 12 beautiful courts, more than most other colleges that we visited, and tremendous facilities here. That kind of pulls them in, and then they look at those facilities we have and the other things that we're doing, and it's an easy choice for a lot of athletes to say, this is where I want to spend my next 4 years.
Right. Now let's talk a little bit about the men's program. Now, of course, we did get into a conference last year, the Northeastern Athletic Conference.
Yes.
Which this year has changed to the North Atlantic Conference.
Right.
Just as an associate member, we're in the NAC West, they call it, division, and there's a NAC East division. Last year we were NEAC champions. I mean, we swept all the singles and doubles flights, and you were coach of the year. How do you see us matching up this year with the competition? Of course, there's 2 new schools that came in. Penn State, Abington?
Yes.
And who's the other? Penn State, Harrisburg?
Harrisburg was in it last year. I think the other team that arrived is not yet playing men's tennis.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just one new additional men's tennis program.
Okay. So, and we've already started off. We're 2-0 in the conference.
2-0 in the conference. We play another conference opponent tomorrow, Penn State Harrisburg. They're improved, and it should be a competitive match. And I think we'll know where we stand after tomorrow's match, where we think we'll go from here. But I suspect we're going to be the top flighted team in our team tournament, and I think several of our players, if not all of them, could be top seeds in the individual flighted tournament. Now
that tournament is coming up during the weekend of the 24th and 25th. It's a Saturday-Sunday tournament down at Clark Summit down in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And last year when you went down there, I mean, what kind of expectations did you have and the kids? I mean,
Well, by the time we went down there for the tournament, we had already played everybody in a dual match, and we had tremendous success. We won all the matches, and we competed very well, so we suspected that at the conference tournament we could do very well. So far this season, we've played 2 conference matches, and both teams we've played were a little better this year than they were last year, and I think the conference in just 1 year has raised their level of play. I don't think they're quite up where we're at yet. I hope not. We'll find out. We still have 3 or 4 matches to go in the conference, but it's fun. It's fun to compete against teams who are really out there trying to improve their program and compete.
Now the NAC West division, that'll be that tournament. And then the next weekend, we'll play the NAC East champion, which includes schools such as like Castleton and Linden State and Johnson State, mostly in the Vermont, New Hampshire area.
Right.
How do you think we'll stack up with those schools?
That's really exciting for us. We have never played any of those schools in my 6 years here, and I suspect even before I arrived, I doubt that we saw many of those schools. And so it'll be a new experience for us. We're all kind of looking at the web pages, trying to figure out who they are and who they play, and then doing a little comparison shopping, so to speak, trying to figure out where we might stack up. It'll be an exciting time. It's one more really exciting phase for the men's tennis program.
Right. Now that'll be the following weekend up in Latham.
Latham, yeah.
The championship, what they'll call essentially the North Atlantic Conference champion this year. So it'll be pretty it'd be kind of amazing. 2 straight years. We could be the NEAC champion and the NAC champion if everything goes well. And it took us so long to find a conference to compete in after the SUNY, dropped men's tennis as a sport. But so how exciting do you think that is for the possibilities for our men's program to do that again? I mean, is that?
Oh, tremendously exciting, yeah. Regardless of the competition, whether it's extremely stiff or it's something that we think we can manage, just the opportunity to compete in a conference tournament championship and to step out on the court and demonstrate that you have the skill and the ability to compete is so exciting. And then to walk away as a champion is something that is a lifelong experience. Right. 30 years from now, 40 years from now, you can be telling your great-grandchildren, I was a champion in college tennis, and it's a great legacy to leave once we achieve that.
Now, as you build the rest of your, what we would call your non-conference schedule during, the fall season and the spring season, talk about some of the schools that we've been able to play this year and add to our schedule that you think enhances, not only our opportunities for our men to compete at a high level, but just overall in the program.
We're really trying to raise the caliber of opponent we play. For example, we've played at the time they were ranked number 4 Middlebury. At this time, we believe they're ranked number 1 in the country. And they're extremely good, and they're as good as advertised. We've also played teams like Rochester, St. Lawrence. Next year we'll play Middlebury again, as well as teams like NYU and Brandeis. And this coming weekend, we play Stevens Institute of Technology, which is another very good opponent. And so our schedule is really loaded with very, very good competition.
Now, within our, can you just let people know, because the ITA is broken up into these very large regions, yes. And a couple years ago we actually were ranked in our region. Can you just let people know how it kind of works and where we fit in and some of the schools, as you say, that are some of the top schools in our I guess, side of the bracket, you'd say?
In our region, some of the top schools are Skidmore, Vassar, NYU is typically very good. The College of New Jersey is also very, very good. And St. Lawrence is also a strong squad. We also see Union College in our ITA and in our region that's very, very good. And so as we put together our schedule and we play in the ITA tournaments, we stay within our region, which includes those schools. And then from those schools, the National Championship Committee ranks within our region. And we've been as high as 18, we've been in the 20s, and I think we're always trying to compete with those schools that I've mentioned. Vassar, Skidmore especially are really, really top schools within our region.
Right, so now when you're building your schedule, those are the schools that, we want to play the top teams in our region so that our men can have an opportunity to, move up, compete at a higher level. Any of the schools in New England besides Middlebury, I mean, that we might be able to maybe hook up with? You said Brandeis. I mean, there are some other schools kind of in and around Boston, like Babson and MIT. And
we could add those. The Middlebury tournament we play in, it's a tournament that they host, and they bring schools in from all over the place. And so it's something that a lot of schools want to get into. We're thrilled to be there. But another school that we play that's kind of in that far eastern section is Wheaton, and that'll be a new school that's added next year. And Wheaton is another top 20 school in the country that we're playing for the first time on next year's schedule.
Right. Now, as we go towards those will be in the fall. I mean, you'll be playing, your fall schedule and your spring schedule. Mm-hmm. Are we going to go to some more tournaments in the fall that might be able to help us in those, at that competitive level?
There's one tournament that we've been playing in consistently called the Flower City Tournament, and each of the last, I believe, 3 years, we've been runner-up in that tournament. And the team that we have fallen to each year is either Skidmore or Vassar, depending on which one is in the tournament. And so every year, if we continue to improve and get better, we know that waiting for us in the finals is Skidmore or Vassar. And so each year, we have our opportunities.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the players on our team this year, and maybe we can just highlight a few of the top players that we think could compete for a NAC individual championship. Who are some of those players?
Well, our number 1 player this year is also our lone senior, Matt Steinhauser. And Matt is finishing his 4-year career. He's had a great career. He also competed extremely well in the ITA tournament that you referred to. Just a tremendous year this senior year for him. He's playing number 1 singles, and I think he has an excellent opportunity to win the overall championship at 1 singles. Last year's Player of the Year, Adam Shapiro, who will be appearing here in a few minutes, is back as well. He's only a sophomore, and he is playing number 2 singles and has just a tremendous opportunity again to be champion and be all conference at his spot. And then a third person who has done extremely well, Will Sacco, who will also be appearing, is another team captain for us. He has played everywhere in our lineup throughout his career and is just a junior this year. So we're excited to have him back this year and looking forward to even better things next year.
Now, when you put people together for doubles, it's always interesting to see who matches up with who, and a lot of teams just take their 1 and 2 and their 3 and 4 and just play them together. How do you go about combining your guys and pairing them up?
That's a real challenge for me. I tell my players every year that that's probably where I make my most mistakes, because we're trying to pair up players who will play well together, but that's not as easily done as, it's not as easily done as it is just said. I'm often looking for skills that match each other, communication style, how well they work with each other on the court, court coverage, all these kinds of things. It would be easy just to put the 1 and the 2 together and let them go, but more often than not that tends not to work. So often we're kind of shuffling teammates in and out, trying to figure out what's going to work. But the big challenge in doing that is that our seasons are fairly short. Yeah. With the weather here in New York, it's questionable sometimes how much time we have to practice or to experiment with doubles lineups. So sometimes we put a pair together and we just say it's the best we've got, let's go to it.
Right. Now, so as we go forward here, we've got a couple weeks left. We also have some dual matches besides our conference tournament, and hopefully beyond that for the ultimate championship of being NAC champions. We certainly want to wish you good luck, and we want to thank you for coming by tonight, and certainly hope all goes well in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank Bill May for coming by, and after the break, I'll be joined by one of our captains, Will Sacco.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Now joining me in studio is junior men's tennis captain Will Sacco. Welcome to the show, Will.
How's it going?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a junior. I'm from Canandaigua, New York, which is up near Rochester. I'm a history and an earth science dual major, and I'd like to end up teaching, hopefully in a high school, and hopefully tennis as well. So, yeah, that's me right now.
Okay, now you say that you'd like to be a tennis coach.
Yes, very much so.
Now, we had Bill on earlier, and he certainly said some great things about you. Now, do you see his influence as being important as to possibly being a tennis coach?
Oh yes, definitely. Coach May and I have grown a lot closer over the past 3 years. When I initially came to the school, I had some amazing experience just talking with him, understanding his philosophy. And as his athlete now, I'm really starting to understand what a coach really has to do, and what sort of experience he has, especially with his NAIA schools, and his career here at Oneonta has been excellent. He really knows what to do as a coach, so I'm learning as much as I can from him.
Now, coaching is, just more than it's not really X's and O's in tennis, but you know what I'm saying as far as it's just not on the court coaching. There's a lot of other things that go into that. I mean, what other kinds of things does Coach May do for the team and the individuals that, allows us to be as competitive as we are, and, on the court and in the classroom? Yeah,
exactly. As you just said, tennis is not X and O's. Coach May really devotes his time to making sure that we excel in the classroom, to make sure that we are doing exactly what we need to do in the off season to prepare ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally sometimes for the next season to come up. So we only have 2 seasons, but at the same time, he is our coach for the entire year. And I think, every summer we leave and he says, hey guys, you've got an opportunity now to devote time either for tennis, or you can go about your summer socializing, working, do whatever you want to do. And some guys on our team have really taken that to heart and saying, I've only got 4 years of college, let's go out and be the best player we can be. So I've learned a lot, I really have.
Now you say it's a year-long thing. Of course, we do kind of split our season. We have a fall season, which is considered more of a non-traditional season, and then in the spring when we compete in our conference tournaments and things. How do you think that works on, like you? Like, how do you prepare? You know, you're playing great tennis in the fall, and all of a sudden now you don't play for another 4 months.
Well, we do not have an indoor facility here. However, we do have an opportunity downtown. There's a little club, 2 courts, indoor facility, and a couple of the guys on the team and myself got some indoor playing time there, pretty cheap too. And I tell you what, a month in there, and I was really, I set it up so that I was coming right into the season after playing a whole month down there with, you know, our #1 from last year and our #7 right now. So we really, I think us 3 coming back into this spring season, we really turned it up, and I'm definitely going to take that opportunity again next year. So
right now, this season so far, we're having another winning season. We've played a couple conference matches. Yep. We got a couple coming up, and to finish off, we got our conference tournament. What kinds of things are you looking forward to as we get closer?
Well, I think Coach definitely put in perspective the teams that are in our conference have gotten a lot better. I know we swept last year. Right off the bat, we played Berks, and it was 7-2. And so I think a couple of the guys on the team got a little scared, and they were like, all right, what can we expect for the rest of the year? So definitely going into the conference championship, I'd love to see everybody win individually. But as a team, I definitely think we can take it to them. And I personally, you know, I'd love to go undefeated for the rest of the year. It'd be a great accomplishment.
Right. Now, you were earlier this spring, you were a NEAC Student Athlete of the Week, and that really encompasses not only, what you do on the court, but also as being a student athlete. How important is it to be a good student athlete?
It's amazing. One thing I've been talking to my advisors about right now is what comes after college, and you know, right now, balancing time. We have 3 weekend matches the upcoming. Balancing time, it's a huge thing, and especially if I want to be a teacher and a coach, I'm gonna have that experience when I get in there. But at the same time, like the NEAC championship, and being a student athlete, just getting that award even in itself, it really helps you understand and motivates you to continue to progress and to continue to achieve both on and off the court.
So your experience so far in your first 3 years, I mean, certainly sounds like you've taken advantage of many things, and I guess you say you sort of become like a kind of a sponge for, you know, what's going on, so you can absorb and move on and do some good things after you graduate. And of course, you have 1 more year, which we're certainly excited about, and we certainly want to wish you good luck the rest of the spring, and maybe we'll have you back next year to talk about how you're progressing through your senior year.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Geoff.
Well, I'd like to thank junior Will Sacco for stopping by tonight. And after the break, we'll be joined by sophomore team captain Adam Shapiro.
先生你好，歡迎光臨，等等先。唔該晒。
Brandon.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is sophomore men's tennis team captain Adam Shapiro.
How you doing?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, I'm 20 years old. I'm from East Rockaway, New York, which is in Long Island. I'm a sophomore, political science major, and a history minor as well. And that's about it. Yeah.
Now, you had quite a freshman year, as we would say. You were player of the year in the conference, singles champion, doubles.
Yeah.
You were our department's rookie of the year. How amazing was that for you?
I mean, it was great. I mean, I was in shock. I was just like, wow, this is like the best year of my life. Like,
yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. It's a great way to start your college career.
Yeah, completely, definitely.
Now, what was it like? You know, a lot of times freshman year can be, you know, crazy, where maybe you might not have that kind of success.
Right.
Certainly, you're a strong academic student coming in.
Right.
What was it like to make that transition from high school to college?
It was, it was a transition definitely, but I felt very comfortable with everyone right away. Like everyone's pretty, everyone on the team is a very good bunch of guys, and like, we get in right away. We play, play for spots, but it's, everyone's very classy. Went about their business, but when the matches were over, everyone was friendly, and so that's, it's the way it should be.
So you fit right in right away.
Oh, yeah.
And now, how much of that comes from Coach May and how he runs the program and makes people feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, Coach May is an extremely nice person, and he's just like, he makes you feel like, I've had a lot of coaches in the past who are very like, you don't feel very comfortable around them, and as soon as you meet him, you feel very sense of ease, very easygoing. It's just, you feel like you can let your guard down, and so it's very nice. It was, right away I didn't feel like, oh, I have to deal with a coach who's very angry at me, who yells at me. It was just like a very easy transition in that regard.
How important is it for personalities to kind of mesh in a situation? Because of course tennis is, it's a team sport, but yet it really is an individual sport because you're competing one-on-one with the person across the net.
Right.
How important is it for personalities to mesh not only within the teammates but also from the coach?
I mean, it definitely is important because, people said the coach reflects the team's personality, and I guess, Coach May is a very nice guy, but he's a very competitive guy, and I think that kind of resembles like our team for the most part. Like, most guys are pretty nice, but we're all very competitive. Like, when we play, like, we're going to win, like, it's bottom line. So.
Right. Well, and certainly in tennis, that's an important attitude to have. Now, going through your freshman year, you now transition, you're a sophomore now, and you're a team captain as a sophomore, which is very unusual for a lot of sports that we have here. What's that like? Is there a lot of pressure on you, or how do you handle that?
I mean, it's different. It's like, because there are some upperclassmen, and, it's I'm kind of trying to, like, get some be authoritative without coming across as being obnoxious, or so it's kind of, I'm stuck in the middle. That's what being a sophomore is. It's like you're not really young, but you're not old yet, so it's an interesting transition, I guess.
Right. So do you feel that it's going well though? I mean, do you think that the guys, are you a lead by example kind of captain, or?
That's I don't like to be. I'm not a confrontational person. Like, I'll just like, if I'm not going to yell at someone to move their feet. I'm going to train hard, and hopefully if they're seeing that I'm working hard, they're going to try and work as hard.
Right. Now, of course, coming off your freshman year where you player of the year in the conference, and now as we're looking at this year's schedule, of course we have some big conference matches coming up in the conference tournament, and how do you see us in that? How do you see us doing?
I mean, I think we're going to win. I think we're very talented. I think compared to the other teams, they have gotten better, but I think we're just better than them. I think we're going to win. And hopefully we'll get a bid for NCAAs.
Now, do you now for us to get a bid to the NCAAs this year, of course, it would have to be as a Pool B at large, because the NAC doesn't have an automatic berth until 2012, which is kind of where we're playing now. When you look at the east side of the division, Castleton, Linden, Johnson, some of the other schools.
Right.
I mean, Coach May said you guys are kind of keeping your eyes on the East Division. I believe is Castleton still in first place? I think they were 5-1, maybe a couple wins. I mean, do you look at them as being a formidable opponent?
I mean, I looked at their schedule. They didn't play Middlebury. They didn't play like Vassar, Rochester. So unless the teams they played were better than them, I don't see them being like they could be good. I'm not going to take them for granted. Step on the court. But at the same time, it is what it is.
So you think our non-conference schedule that Coach May has been able to build, we're playing Middleburys and the Vassars and the St. Lawrences, helps us?
Oh yeah, definitely. First off, it helps get our name out there because we're playing like a top national team, so it just gets recognition, and coaches talk this and that. And also, it's just good because we play better teams, so our level of play goes up as well. And then, gradually we'll just get to the point where, we'll be a perennial qualifier for NCAAs.
Right. Now, because to get better, you have to play better.
Right. Exactly.
And it's a great philosophy, and I think it's always kind of been the prevailing motto for our men's tennis program through the years. We've always been able to build a good schedule and get the talented kids like yourself to come into our program and play. So it certainly has paid off.
Yeah.
Some of the other things we do with our program, we just got back from our yearly trek down to Florida, where we play a couple of matches. I mean, we played, Florida Tech, which is...
Yeah, Florida Tech and Warner Southern.
And how did that go? I mean...
It was good. We played, first match was Warner Southern. We won 7-2. But they got a lot better from last year. That was actually a good win. They were pretty solid. And And then FIT, they were pretty solid. They're a Division II team. They were pretty solid. They beat us, I think, 7-2. But you know what? Like, it's something you learn from, build on. But you know, they were good. They were better than us. So.
Yeah. Now, when you're down there, it's really a great opportunity for you guys to kind of just be together all at once and do things. What kind of things do you guys do down there? I mean, obviously the beach is there, and Disneyland and Disney World or whatever. I mean, do you guys take advantage of those opportunities to?
A lot of us just like to go to the pool during the day. You know, I personally, we had 7-day practice, so I'd practice, eat breakfast, take a nap, and then go to the pool and stuff. And like, we went to a Magic game, which was a lot of fun.
Oh,
that was
Magic.
Yeah, just played the Knicks, they killed them. But it was a fun game. It was a very fun trip.
Right.
Yeah,
now, but those are great opportunities and great memories for you to have as you take towards your junior year and senior year. Does the team look forward to that trip every year?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone talks about Florida trip.
Now you do go down there for an entire week.
Yep.
And of course, Coach May has been doing that since he got here. And I don't know, we used to go down to Hilton Head down there, which I know is which is another place where a lot of top teams nationally go to. So, well, listen, we certainly would like to thank you for coming by, and we wish you good luck. And we hope that not only yourself but the rest of the team does well at the the next coming weeks with the tournament, and hopefully we can be NAC champions and get to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. All right, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for coming by.
All right,
I'd like to thank Adam Shapiro and Will Sacco and also Coach May for coming by tonight. And we'd like to remind you that as our spring schedule gets kind of busy, please check out our website for all the postponements and reschedules, and also how all of our teams are doing. And we'd like to thank you for joining us this week on Inside Red Dragon Sports, and please join us next Monday.